Hey there guys, super pumped because I'm about to be chatting with Ben. One of our amazing clients has gone from $0 to $84,000 in 4 to 6 weeks, literally right at the start of his process. And the reason I say 4 to 6 is because he went away for a couple of weeks in that starting period. And then as soon as he started hustling, it was literally 4 weeks before he made 84 grand. He's a really young dude with a big heart and a big vision to change the world, but struggled with structure, niche, marketing, sales, pretty much everything. And we've just completely reinvented the game for him in such a short amount of time. And there's so many learnings in it for you. The guy moved from the country to Melbourne in a van with no money and just went, stuff this, I'm going all out, and has completely transformed since then, because obviously he's doing very well financially now, which is awesome. But he's also in a much more centered, grounded place for his long-term vision, which is really exciting as well. So if you guys are kind of listening to this going, this is awesome, this sounds awesome, I want to talk with you or one of your team, then go boy and put your deets in and we'll organize that. If not, for now, just jump straight into the interview. Make sure you stick around to the end because there's lots of gems in there. I don't hold back at all in terms of the value of exactly what it took for him. Full transparency. So make sure you get those knowledge bombs that I'm going to drop in there. And make sure you also listen to the struggles. Because the breakthroughs he's had isn't just around what you would consider to be obvious. It's not just what you think you need to learn, but it's what you really need to learn. So enjoy it, and I'll see you in there. Hey guys, and welcome to this epic, what will be an epic interview with Ben, the man, one of my favorite clients, because he is a master implementer. Now, we've known each other for probably 6 weeks now, properly.
Yeah.
He's been around the office a little bit, come in and out, and got the chance to see him implementing, got to experience the joy and euphoria that comes with winning in a new coaching business in the most amazing and spectacular fashion, which Ben has done. So what I want to do with you guys today is I want to go through and talk about the wins. I want to talk about the where he started, but most importantly, what the majority of this interview will focus on is what it legitimately took. So the downs, the challenges, what it really took to get a breakthrough. Because at the moment, Ben's made seven total sales into a 12K program, which is 84K. And it's been about 6 weeks since he started hustling in the program. So that's amazing, that's ridiculous. And how many of them have been upfront?
Two of those sales have been upfront payments.
So 10K upfront, yeah. So 20K in cash. Now, the thing that really stands out for me is really the journey from where you were at the start to where you are now, which is drastically different in terms of your mindset, your strength of your emotional resilience, your certainty in who you are, because the results have proven it. But coming out and starting at the beginning of this journey, I didn't realize how much you'd sacrificed. Like, I remember, because you were living out of your van, which is, I thought it was actually kind of cool. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that myself, but was living out of his van to be able to save cash to give this a real proper crack. So right at the bottom financially, and going, I will do whatever it takes. And I know you'd spend probably 8, 10, 12 weeks trying to make your coaching business work, because you moved from the country to Melbourne, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, stuff, I'm going to Melbourne, I want to be around some more hypey atmosphere, I want to make this shit happen. And then he did. Yeah, took a few months of trial and error, and I know the big sticking point for you at the start was niche.
Yeah.
And I know you're very skeptical of joining, because in your head you're like, finding niche is the hardest part. And I remember having you in here, we're about to do our session, and I'm like, we're not doing the session until you sign your agreement. And you're like, I don't know if you're going to be able to help me find my niche. And I'm like, mate, I'm the master of niche creation. We will find the niche. And we did find the niche. And it was awesome, because it aligned with your passion, but profitability as well, because the people that you help are the people that hit here for you in the heart, which is awesome. So I was really happy with that. As soon as I came up with that niche, I was like, if this guy executes, he will dominate this, which you did. So what I want to talk about, mate, is first and foremost, can you give the guys a little bit of an idea of where your mindset was at the start, just to set the scene? And then I want to talk about all the things you did to get to that level of success, where you are now, because right now the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You're in an amazing place. So
yeah, sure. So when I started off, my mindset was in a place of confusion, lack of clarity, and really a lot of unworthiness. I didn't feel worthy to be able to offer the services that I wanted to offer. So the combination of those three things had basically gotten me to a place where I wasn't taking any action, because without clarity you can't take action. So I was dithering around trying to make something work.
Dithering?
Just very unclear. Dithering.
Hardcore dithering.
Hardcore dithering.
Okay, so, and this is before we were in touch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other niches and stuff did you try before that? Because the thing, what I really did love when I kind of scoped you out was your videos were awesome.
Yeah.
Like I could tell there was a lot of heart there, and I could tell how badly you wanted to change the world based on, and that, because you had drawn your little cartoon drawings.
Yeah.
These awesome hand-drawn videos. Check them out if you haven't already. I'll put them in the link somewhere, but they're freaking awesome. And I was like, this guy's got so much heart, but there's no solidity behind what the business is. I could tell that straight away, but that stood out for me. So what kind of niches did you experiment before we nailed what you have now?
So for the last couple of years, my passion has been social enterprise. So businesses that set out to make a difference in the world, to have some kind of social impact. So that was really my main focus, and I wanted to focus on young people, sort of Generation Y, 20s to 30s age bracket, who were starting social enterprises. The only problem was that is so broad, like you can literally start a social enterprise in any industry, that I had nothing to focus on, no particular demographic to go, all right, I'm going to work with these people in particular. So I really
it made the targeting really difficult.
Exactly, yeah.
And the message to them as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like you were on a really cool mindset, because you're like, I want to help people that have some kind of tangibility behind them. I don't want to help business owners to a certain extent, but I want to help those that are trying to make a difference.
That's right.
And the tweak that we made, which wasn't even in my realm, because I never go into a session knowing what we're going to do at all. I always go blank canvas. And what you do now is you help wellness professionals and wellness practices grow them.
Yeah.
Because you've got business, because you get business and you get online marketing, you get sales, you get the tangible, especially now after you're really solidifying your knowledge to a whole new level, because you've worked so hard over the last 8 weeks. It's gone to a whole new level, but you get people results in this area.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't in our scope.
Exactly.
Yeah, but love it, and now it's tangible. So anyone watching, kind of what I want you to get from this little takeaway right now is that if you don't have a niche that's profitable, and you haven't had it ticked off, knowing that people invest in what you have, you might be driving so hard your message down, you might be trying so hard and not getting anywhere, and not knowing that it's the niche, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So you got to make sure that before you start marketing, before you start selling, you get someone to be able to say, yes, that's profitable. Really freaking important. And if you want that, I'm sure around this video somewhere, from a marketing point of view, we would have put some kind of free session offer. Sometimes we do those sessions, we have hundreds of people that apply for them. Put it in there. And you may or may not get that session, but give it a shot, because if you do get in that free session, then you end up getting your niche clear in that session. The best thing, or just PM our page or something like that, and we'll help you with that niche. If you don't have it right, it makes everything else near impossible. It really does. So mate, what do you think, because what would you consider, from what you've learned, I think this is going to be very valuable for everyone that's watching along, to be the process that a coach needs to go from? I'm just trying to give a direct answer to you guys right now. What's the process that you see right now, having been through it yourself, that a coach needs to go through to be able to go from scratch to generating sales? What are the different steps that you think they need to do? What have you done?
Okay, so for me personally,
and then just quickly, Ben, and then I want to talk about the challenges, because trust me, there's been more challenges than successes. There's just been really good successes.
Yeah. So the process that you need to go through in order to become a successful coach is you need to start from your place of purpose. Figure out what is the actual impact you want to have on the world. What kind of people do you want to influence? How do you want to influence them? What's this outcome that you're trying to create?
Yep.
From there, you need to get clarity on your path or your actual method to do that.
The business model.
The business model, the niche, and this is where these guys can really help you with this stuff, because they're absolute professionals at it.
Or if we don't, someone can.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
get the help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you've got your niche and your business model, you then need to go out and create your message. So you need to be able to deliver your message of the kind of promise that you're going to bring these people that you want to help through your coaching. You need to get that in front of them using the most powerful strategies. And again, Winning International teaches all of this stuff, how to use Facebook marketing, how to use online, offline methods in order to get your message in front of the right people.
Awesome. So I'll try to break down and kind of like summarize it, and then add a little couple of bits just so you guys get what Ben's done, because you've done some real, and we can get a specific, we can tell these guys everything you've done specifically, so they can get that value and can start to do it themselves and generate leads and get sales and change lives. So get the structure right, niche, business model, make sure it's aligned with your passion, purpose, and profitability. Like get that combo, the structure right. What are you offering? How are you offering it? Who are you offering it to? Understanding that, and that foundation gives you a platform to be able to put your message out there. And the two main steps that you've gotten really good at since then is marketing and sales.
Yeah.
So we focus mainly on Facebook ads. For now, we focus on other strategies, and we push the strategies that are hottest at the time. At the moment, that's Facebook ads. So Ben, it went through this whole roller coaster, and everyone does. There's never someone that defies this process. Everyone has to go through big hurdles and hiccups and issues and stuff ups and crappy campaigns, crappy results with their marketing until it works. And so Ben did it like a boss because he implemented hardcore. So talk through with me, mate, with your Facebook ad journey. What was the timing between your first ad, your first marketing campaign,
Hey there, guys.
to when you started to get results to where you are now?
Ben,
What was kind of like, talk about the journey
clients has gone from
of
0 to
how much you were
$84,000
spending,
in
how
4 to
many
6
campaigns you were
weeks.
launching,
Literally right at the
what
start
results
of
you
this
were getting.
process. And the reason I say
Like
4 to
the
6
timeframes.
is because you
So,
went away for a
for
couple of
leads.
weeks in that
Yeah.
starting
That's what this is
period.
about.
Over the
And
past
then
6 weeks,
as soon as you start
I
hustling,
put out
say
my
4
first
weeks,
campaign. I
or
put out my
before
first
even
hook on
84 grand.
Facebook,
The really young dude
and
in
that was
the
right
art,
before I went
a
away
big
on a
vision to
14-day
change the
cruise to the
world,
Pacific
but
Islands.
struggled with
So I
structure,
put that
niche,
hook out, and I was
marketing,
spending
sales,
about
pretty much
$20 a week.
everything. And we've just
And then I got back
completely
2 weeks later, and I
reinvented the game
generated
in
something
such a short
like
amount
2
of
or
time.
3
And
leads,
there's
and I
so
was
many learnings
overjoyed
in it
about
for
that.
you.
Then I
The
discovered
guy
that 2 of
moved
them were
from
just
the
friends of mine
country
who were
to
curious and
Melbourne.
adopted.
And
And then
and
then because I'd been on this cruise, I
completely
basically had spent all my money. So I went out and just did some labouring, got some money together, and put that money straight into Facebook ads in the next week.
So
And
if you
then
guys are kind
over
of
the
listening to
next
this going, "This is
2
awesome,
weeks, I
it sounds
generated
awesome, I wanna
something
talk with you,
like
what do you
20
think? Go
leads
go and put your
because I was
dates in
spending a
and
lot of money
organise that.
on
If not,
leads,
for
on
now,
ads,
just
on
jump straight
hooks.
into the interview.
And
Make sure you
then
stick around to the
I was
end.
jumping on the
There's
phone. I
lots
made
of
my
gems
first
in there.
sale
I don't
2
hold
weeks
back
later.
at all in terms of the
So
value of
I got
exactly
to a
what I took
point
for it.
where
Full
I was
transparency. So
spending
make
about
sure you get those-
$30,
those
$40 a
knowledge
week
bombs
on
that
ads,
you're
and I
dropping
thought I was
there.
being
And make sure you also
generous
listen
with
to
my
the struggles.
spending. And then I
Because
told
the
one of these
breakthrough
guys,
isn't-
and they're like,
is
"You need to
had.
double that
Isn't just
or
around
more."
what you consider
I agree
the
with you on
obvious.
that.
Straight away. And
What you
then
really need to
about 3 weeks
learn.
ago, I
So enjoy it,
started
and I'll see you in
spending
there.
$700 per
I think there were
week.
2 initial iterations.
What
It
an
was like
awesome
30,
chat.
40,
Ben is
50
an
bucks a
absolute
week to start
legend.
with,
He's
and I was like,
smashing it.
yeah.
And
Mate,
quick
you've
update,
just
since
made
I
a
did that
12K
interview, he's now
sale.
well over 100K in
you
sales.
can put
He's
some
been
more of
crushing
that back
it,
into
which is so
marketing.
exciting.
Then we doubled it, and
pretty
then
much
it
this,
went
guys,
from
if
like
you're at a
100
point
bucks a
right
week,
now
and
where
then I
you watch
remember
that,
you
you
put
went,
it up
"That
a
was
bit more, like
awesome.
200.
What the hell do I need
Now
to
it's
do
at
now? How
800
do I
plus.
emulate
And then the
that?
other day,
How do
you've
I
got too
get
many
more
leads
of
now, so you
myself?
generate 70
Because
a
I know where to
week.
start,
Yeah.
what
Because
to
you're good
do.
at what you do.
But here's what
You
you
get
need to
it.
do. You
You
need
get
to go
marketing
below,
now,
put your
which is
details in
awesome.
right now,
And you're generating
sign
70
up
leads a
to
week. And
chat
then
with
we had the
myself or one
conversation
of our team for
where it was
free.
like, what do I
And the
do? Do I
reason that we
pause
do
my ads?
this, we
Because
call it the
now he's
coaching
got
business
plenty of sales
overhaul.
coming
We
through.
completely
Is it
overhaul your
worth
entire
getting leads if you can't
business,
pull that
business
many
model,
leads?
price points,
And the answer
how you're
was
gonna launch,
yes,
when
it
you're gonna
is.
launch, how you're gonna run your
Because
program,
Ben's
extending
goal is to make
marketing and
5
sales
12K
side of
sales
things.
weeks, so
It's a very
60K a
in-depth
week, which is
process.
3 mil a
It's
year.
sort of a couple of sessions
Pretty awesome.
and a bunch
And
of
you get there in the
content.
next few
And our goal
weeks.
for that is to
Sounds
wow
pretty
you
crazy,
so
but a
much you
$3
get to the
million
end of that process
business
and you're like,
within
how the
8
hell do
weeks
I
is
work
pretty
with you
awesome.
guys?
And it's
And we get that
totally
all the
achievable
time,
Yeah.
because we get so
because
much
it's 5
from it.
sales.
Literally
5
tell
sales
yourself what
means
you
for
need
you
to
probably
do.
8
It's
conversations.
just
So we
like
need
aha moment,
40,
aha
50-ish
moment.
leads
So
to be able to
guys,
get those
go
8
boys, put your
conversations.
details
He's generating
in.
70
I'm
already.
having a chat
And when
to
Ben
you,
came
one
to
of
me
my
and
team
said, what do I do
champions.
with that? I said, like we definitely maintain the spend because those extra leads are awesome for when I get you to hire sales leaders in the business, which will happen in probably 3 months' time, based on you maintaining this level of hustle and being consistent to get enough cash flow to warrant that, and be strong enough to warrant that, which he will based on the rate that he's going right now. And then we've got a plethora of leads there and ready to be able to utilize for the sales leaders to call because he's getting more. So I said, if anything, up the budget because you can afford to now.
Yeah.
Finances aren't an issue. So yeah, I think that's a really big learning. Spend more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I really like, and you put this up in 7 Figure Coach group, you've mentioned it multiple times in the group to the other coaches that are new, to give them the same message and understanding of the amount of campaigns needed to start to get it to work. Because the way that you've voiced it so far in this interview is that I just put out campaigns and it worked, which wasn't the case.
No.
Because you weren't getting good results at the start. It took, I remember you launched 5 campaigns in a week and it was like the last campaign or something started to generate your leads. But there was a bunch of ones that weren't generating any leads.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's the learning there for the guys watching?
It really is a matter, like you can never quite tell exactly what's going to work. So you just have to keep trying. You just have to launch campaign after campaign. And I've launched something like close to 20 campaigns in the last 6 weeks now. And that's the secret. Like I've been absolutely blown away by some of the campaigns that have worked compared to the ones that I thought would work. Some of the ones I thought would be duds have just been my very best campaigns. I'm now spending all of my ad spend on those ones.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of literally testing, launch until something.
And it doesn't take a huge amount of time to launch a campaign. Once you get the bait, like once you know how to set up a ClickFunnels landing page, once you know how to launch a Facebook ad, which isn't hard because you're adults, you're coaches, like you guys are phenomenally smart people. It's just this big illusion that it's not easy to do, and so everyone gets overwhelmed. When in actual fact, if you battle through and you just do it, you go, okay, cool, it's not that bad. So I remember the other day, I was like, what do you think you could do as the most amount of campaigns in a day? And you said 20. If I had to, I could do 20. And I was thinking in my head 10 for me, like which is kind of like really playing low ball, especially after you said 20. But it's true, you could launch 20.
You could launch 20.
And like you've done 20 in the last 6 weeks, but the average coach will do, well, the average coach won't ever launch a campaign. But then the ones that do might do 1 or 2, not get the results because they're way off, because they don't have a niche, they don't have any clarity on the messaging, they're trying to sell their services, so it's too pushy, or they're trying to give out what they think is valuable instead of saying, putting an offer out that's exactly what the clients want to see and or the prospects want to see. They're usually way off the mark, and they'll do 2 and they'll fail and then they'll stop. Whereas you did 20 in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
20. As somebody that's like had niche clarity and all the extra benefits. And that's what's been required for you to make 84K. So people could be like, oh, 84K, yeah, well, I can do 20 campaigns. You do 20 campaigns and come back to me and tell me that you're not generating similar results.
Yeah.
You book all those leads that come in and then give your heart and passion on the line and talk to them in an incredibly passionate way, like their wife depends on it, because it does, and then close them and then come back to me and say, you haven't made 84K. Because the thing is, it's more of a mindset. So talk to me about like your first few, because you're doing pretty well sales-wise. What do you think's the keys for the guys watching? Why do you think you've been able to convert people into your because it's a premium program?
Yeah.
What do you think's been the key for you being able to make those sales?
So it comes back to what you just mentioned. It's you giving everything to your clients over the phone. Sales isn't this process of you taking, it's a process of you giving massive value.
Boom!
To the point where someone realizes that you are the authority, you can help them, you have so much to give, and they're just going to trust you so much, and they're going to be ready to work with you. So that's really what it comes down to. If you want to be successful, give more, give as much as you possibly can, and then people are going to be scrambling to work with you.
100%. And I feel like something that isn't even that relevant to the sales call, but impacts this conversion a lot, is the fact that you're selling an audience something they want.
Yeah.
Whereas most coaches aren't. They're selling them what they think they want, but they don't. So they, like, let's say you're an NLP coach, you're selling people breakthroughs. No one even fucking knows what a breakthrough is. So as much as it's valuable, because we know it's valuable, they don't. So they don't place value on it, so they don't want to invest. It doesn't make sense. Whereas when you've got your niche set up right, it's set up in a way where they want to pay for what you've got. Because if you can deliver what you say you can deliver, which you can if you're a good coach, then whether you're like, they're gonna want it. They want it.
Yeah.
They're like, for us, we help coaches get to 7 figures. Any coach would pay 20K to be able to get to 7 figures if they thought it was true.
Yeah.
The only reason one of our sales leaders, because we've got 6, wouldn't actually get a sale would be because they haven't conveyed the trust. Because the person on the other end of the phone doesn't believe it's possible. But if they did, they'd pay for it. We do deliver those results, like we did with you.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe it, then you're not going to pay. But at the end of the day, your niche is set up in a way where it's so obvious. And of course they want it.
Yeah.
Because the niche is profitable. I think that's a really important aspect as well. What do you think's been your biggest challenges so far? Because it's been a pretty good process, but from a results point of view, what do you think's been like the challenge for you? And whatever that means to you, whether it's like hiccups with like strategy or belief issues or money issues. Like, what have been the biggest challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah.
If we just stick to 3, that would be awesome.
Okay, it's trusting in the process. Honestly, that's the biggest one. So when you join a program like this, there's a process in place that you have to follow. And it's up to you whether or not you're going to go through that process and follow it step by step, no matter how outlandish or how weird the ideas seem to you. Or you're going to go and be a cowboy and try and do all these different things by yourself and run around like trying 1,000,000+ things. So when you commit to the process, you have to trust in the process, because that is what's going to give you the momentum to carry through. I've struggled with trusting this process because I thought,
At the start, I was just smirking in my mind because when we're in this room having that session and you're like, got a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
Like, how do I know it's
you're skeptical. Like,
it's just so different now.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the only reason that I did have trust in the process was because I saw other people getting results. And I thought, okay, if they can do it and they've used this process, then I can use this same process and get those same results. So trust in the process and commit to it and follow the steps, and you will get results. So that was a breakthrough for me, for sure.
Awesome. So that's a really good learning for the guys that are watching, because I'm doing right now is showing you a client's results. Essentially, we're teaching you as well, but I'm showing you a client's results, which is a real result. Like Ben has made 84K in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
So like case studies is such an important part of the process, because whether you can deliver or not is like something that's down to the interpretation of the people that you want to help. Like you want to help them. You can help them, but they don't know that. They don't trust that.
Yeah.
So doing case studies is really important. Mentioning case studies when you speak to people in the sales process is really freaking important.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there's no sell necessary, because like I mentioned before, if someone wants a result, if you can deliver, there's no sell. They want it. They'll pay for it. Like you don't have to get sold by Coles because you want to buy a loaf of bread. Like you want the bread, you buy it.
Yeah.
Like it's so simple.
Yeah.
Same with like a good coaching process. So that's one big challenge, trusting the process. From a strategy point of view, what hiccups did you hit on the journey?
Okay, so
Because we're acting like this is just easy,
yeah.
which it's not.
Yeah. So going through the process of setting up funnels, setting up ClickFunnels, integrating that with Facebook, launching campaigns through Facebook, and then getting my first few leads in, that was okay. I got my head around that pretty quickly. But then getting on calls and working out the actual sales process. So getting someone to a point where they can see clearly what they actually want to achieve. They can see clearly what their biggest problems and issues and barriers are in front of them in order to get there, and then showing them the difference between where they are now, where they want to be, and getting them in that change state. So actually working out that process and understanding just the process that you take someone through in order to get them to the point where they're ready to go, all right, now I'm going to step up because I know this is what I want to do, and I know these are my barriers, and I know that I can get help pushing through those barriers. Working out that flow of what you actually say to someone was challenging for me. Yeah.
How'd you overcome it?
I started writing out my own scripts and my own flow of that process, and then I would test it and I practiced it.
Yep.
And I actually got with some of the guys in the group, and we would jump on
Yeah,
Skype.
some of the
jump on
sales
phone.
leads,
Yeah.
because some of the sales support team here were very generous in listening to your calls
Yeah.
and giving you feedback on those calls,
Yeah.
which isn't something we always do.
No.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, and then so practicing those scripts and going through it over and over again, doing it at maximum intensity,
Yeah.
so that when you get on an actual call,
Really
you can bring the energy down again. But you know, if you need to, you can bust through to maximum intensity.
Yeah.
Those were some of the biggest strategic things that I had to push through. Some of the process things that I had to push through, and those are the things that got me the biggest results when I finally did break through.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time to like the first moment when you wanted and you realized you wanted to be a coach, if you could do like something differently, starting from like, if you could just teleport back in time to like the point when you first had the idea to be a coach,
Yeah.
knowing what you know now, like what would you do? What would you do differently?
I would join a community of life-changing coaches, of powerful coaches who are inspiring, and I'd just be in proximity to them as much as possible, whether that's through an online group or moving physically to a location where there's people that I can meet with regularly. I'd find those people who are getting the results, and I'd spend as much time around them as possible, soak up as much as I could off them. That's been the thing that's gotten me the most progress.
Awesome, man. Great tip, great advice. Because what people don't realize, which is something that you just nailed then, is how much of an impact environment has. Because for me, like when I started, I invested in a 50K mastermind right at the start when I didn't have cash, borrowed 5K, $1,000 coming out of my account a week. Then I joined a 125K program, then I joined a 40K program. And it was all for 125K was a mindset program. The 50K was like a bit of a mix of everything. I wish I could join our program and start, because they all missed massive ingredients. Like 50K program didn't get reached out to once the whole year. Zero accountability. But the accountability came in the fact that it was $1,000 coming out of my account a week. That was the best accountability I could have asked for. But with the 40K program, all it was, because there were some other inclusions, but the only reason I joined was to be in a boardroom with 10 other people, so 3 times a year, once every 4 months, with 10 other people who were making over 7 figures. Because I just hit 7 figures in the first 10 months. So right at that point, I joined this process. When I hit 7 figures, paid 40K to be in it, just have 3 catch-ups a year, just so I could spend time with those people for a day, so my environment was stronger because I knew that would lift me up. And for me, that 40K was such an easy investment because I didn't have to do anything to be able to grow my results more. Just being around those people naturally raised my standards and made things easier.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Like, it's not like something where it's like I paid 40K to learn Facebook ads and I had to do a bunch of Facebook ads. It was just like that proximity creates epic results without you even knowing. It's an intangible thing.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So if you were to give the guys that were watching on, because this has been a very on point interview so far, awesome, like really, really solid. What advice would you give the guys if you give like 3 pieces of like heartfelt advice to the coaches that are listening along, watching along now, needing help, and like they've got a dream, they want to make it work, but it hasn't worked yet, they don't know why, they're stressed. What kind of like pieces, it doesn't have to be 3, just what advice would you give those guys?
Yeah, so the biggest piece of advice I can offer is decide that you're going to commit to being a coach. And if you're going to commit to being a coach, be the best coach you can possibly be. Don't play with it, don't do it on the side. Make this something that you're going to commit to 100% for life, because this is your purpose. Connect it to your purpose. And once you do that, you're not going to have so much of the resistance and the distractions and the other things that are plaguing you right now, because it's just going to be all or nothing. It really does have to be all or nothing for you. And secondly, I would advise, like we were just speaking about, get around a community, because it truly is the case that when you're around people, you'll just absorb stuff. And it's unconscious. Being around those people will raise your standards. So the standards that you've got for yourself right now, they could be much higher. And the only way to change that, it isn't by telling yourself, all right, I'm going to have higher standards. It's by getting around people, because we're social creatures. We respond to social cues, and we want to be like the people we hang around. So do that, and then get help with your niche. If you're having some issues with your niche and actually how to make this profitable, how to make this your full-time gig, get some help with it, because that will make all the difference so fast.
Awesome. Now, the reason I like those 3 answers is because yes, they're on point, but you nailed those 3 yourself.
Yeah.
Like right from the start, in terms of like commit full in, because we talk about this all the time. If you want to be a coach, you make a decision now that every day for the rest of your life you're going to coach.
Yeah.
And then the pressure around making it work, like, unless you're blind, deaf, and dumb and you have no fucking idea about anything or don't give a shit about your clients, it's impossible to not get results in 70 years. Like, your coaching business will work if you're committed. It's just obvious, but most people just dither.
Yeah, exactly.
They dither around. Never used that word before, but
it's a great word.
My vocab. So that's the first thing. But you, in terms of commitment, got in a van, drove down to Melbourne to say, I'm fucking doing this.
Yeah.
That ain't commitment. I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Secondly, you go first, actually.
And look, even what you just mentioned, even if you are blind, deaf, and dumb, think about someone like Helen Keller. If you haven't heard about it, go and look her up.
Or Nick Vujicic.
Yeah, the limbless man. These are people who have probably way bigger problems than you'll ever have in your life, and they have still impacted the world for generations to come. So it comes down to your commitment. You can make massive difference if you commit.
So on point. And in fact, you've got an advantage. If you had no limbs, you've got an advantage because you've got more inspiration in who you are. If when you do push through and make it, you're much more noticeable as well. Awesome, dude. Secondly, you said get around a community, and you've pressed to be around us as much as you can. Like, you just be like, man, can I come in and celebrate my win? And I'll be like, fucking why not? Of course you can. Like, come in, we're celebrating the win. So he's around, like, he's pushing to be around. Because for us, we're on track to do 8 figures this year, and we'll have 43 staff. For Ben, because that's done, that's where we are. For him, to be at a place where he doesn't have 10 employees by the same stage we hit that is almost impossible if he's around in some way.
Yeah.
And so it's so on point, because your standards just get matched to the people you're spending time with.
Yeah.
You can't spend time, like if you're locked in a room with 100 billionaires and you spend a whole year with them, you at least won't leave the end of that 12-month period thinking that it's hard to get to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, you know that you could, because it's 100 other people that you'd realize very quickly they're no different to you that are making $1 billion. So at the very least, you'd realize that it's possible. So that's awesome. So those points are nailed. And the niche, that was the thing that you were so juiced to get first and foremost. Yeah. It made you skeptical at the start, an absolute skeptical. Yeah. Awesome. What an interview. Thank you so much, man. Awesome. Congratulations. Can't see what's coming next. It's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited.
Boom. What an awesome chat. Ben is an absolute legend. He is smashing it. And quick update, since I did that interview, he's now well over 100K in sales. He's been crushing it out, which is so exciting. And pretty much this, guys, if you're at a point right now where you watched that and you went, that was awesome, but what the hell do I need to do now? How do I emulate the results? How do I get similar results myself? Because I don't know where to start or what to do. Then here's what you need to do. You need to go below, put your details in right now, and sign up to chat with either myself or one of our team for free. Now, the reason that we do this, we call it the Coaching Business Overhaul, because we completely overhaul your entire business. Niche, business model, price points, how you're gonna launch, when you're gonna launch, how you're gonna run your program, understanding the marketing and sales side of things. It's a very in-depth process. It's a mixture of a couple of sessions and a bunch of content. And our goal for that is to wow you so much. You get to the end of that process and you're like, how the hell do I work with you guys? And we get that all the time because we give so much there. We'll literally tell you exactly what you need to do to hit 7 figures. And it's just like aha moment, aha moment, aha moment. So guys, go below, put your details in, and I'm looking forward to having a chat to you or one of my team chatting to you soon. Have an awesome day.